Hello everyone. Today we would learn what a battery is. So we are playing white, and what a battery actually is that there are two or more pieces along the same diagonal, file or rank, and one supports the other one. This piece supports the other piece. So basically, why is it called a battery? Because this piece gets extra energy, like it can go anywhere along this diagonal and it is supported by this bishop. Similarly, this rook can go anywhere along this file, and this rook can go anywhere along this rank. This queen can also go along anywhere along this rank, and it gets extra energy or extra support. Now, what do we mean by extra energy or extra support? That would be best explained through examples. Now, so moving over to the first example. So now this illustrates why the name battery is what it is. So now, so this is our file, and we make first we need to activate the square. So now what we do is we make this check here, and it is a mate. Why? Because this rook is supporting the queen, so the king can't take the queen. And had the rook not been there, like if the rook wasn't there, it was somewhere here, then the king would have easily taken the queen. But now it has extra energy of this rook. So that's why it is called a battery. So now moving on to our second puzzle. This one. Now we see that these two pieces are along the same diagonal. So we can capture this one without fearing that we could lose our queen. So this is a check. The king can't take the queen, so it moves here, and we have our checkmate. So once again, we have this battery here along this diagonal. We take the pawn, give a check. This is a really common setup in games. You would find this very often. So this is our check. The king goes here, and we have our mate. So now moving on for the third one. So this is our third puzzle. So what does the black play? The black plays rook e8. So now there are two purposes of a battery. This is the battery. Usually what a battery does is, firstly, it could threaten a checkmate. Secondly, there could be an exchange possible. Rather than exchange, I would like to call it a trade. So there could be a trade possible where we get material advantage. So what do we do now? First, if we don't do anything, if we take the rook here using this battery, then what happens? This rook takes this rook, and there is the checkmate because there is back rank weakness. So we can't take the rook now. So what we do instead, we take this rook. Now the queen takes this. Now we take this rook. Now this queen can't come here because it is pinned along this rank. So the queen is forced to take this. Otherwise, queen takes queen and checkmate. So the queen takes this, and this bishop, which supported the queen in the battery, our white queen, takes the black queen. So once again, what happens is black plays re8. We take this rook, then the queen takes our rook, then we take the opponent's rook and pin this queen, and then takes and takes. So now for the fourth one. So this is the fourth puzzle. Now there is extra energy for a battery. By the way, had this rook and this queen been swapped, this would be known as an Alekhine gun. So what is Alekhine gun? In an Alekhine gun, what happens is there are two rooks here. First, imagine that this was a rook. There are two rooks here, and this queen is here. So it kind of like behaves like a gun, with the bullets being the rooks and the queen being the gun. I'll show that in a. So this situation, this is known as an Alekhine gun. So these are our bullets, and this is the gun. So this was played by Alekhine, and this setup made him easily win the game. So now returning back to our puzzle. Once again. Sorry, there was a small error in the puzzle. This is the corrected one. So this is our battery, and what we do is we take this knight, and the rook takes the rook. Now what we can do is first we can take this bishop and we can give a knight fork, or instead what we can do is we initiate another exchange, an indirect exchange, queen versus queen, so that we can simplify the game more. So now how do we do that? We take this rook, then the queen takes the queen, and now we make our knight fork. So once again, what do? We do this exchange sacrifice. Now this is an indirect exchange. How? Using this knight fork. So now moving over to the next one. So this is our next puzzle. So again we have this battery here. Now if we give this check, then this square has three pieces to support it, but we have only two, so we can't give a check here. So instead what we do is, one second, I have to activate this mode. Now we give this check, and now the king goes here. Now we can use our battery, which has extra energy of 2 rooks. So this is a check, takes, and our checkmate. So once again, what we do is we give this check and make our battery stronger. Now this king goes there. Now check, takes, checkmate. Now the next puzzle. This is our second last puzzle. Now again we can see that there is a potential battery here. So here what the white moves, it does this. King F1. So now what we do is we bring it back to the original place here. Now we make our battery. So now what happens is we have this battery. Now the pawn tries his best to break these three. So now what we do, we take this bishop. Now the rook takes the rook, queen. So this is our exchange. So now we are a material up. We can also give a checkmate. There is a mate threat here, but the black can easily win the game. So once again, what happens is we first bring the king back to its position, then we make this formation. Now this pawn tries to break the formation, but we take the bishop, takes. Okay, so now the final puzzle for today. So queen plays this, queen x e4. So now what do? We take this pawn using our battery. So rook takes f7. Now the queen comes here so that it could initiate a trade here. The queen comes here so that if nothing happens, then the queen takes this, then the rook takes the queen, and the black takes a rook. So these two rooks jointly make 10 points. So that is more than a queen. So there could be a possible trade-off. But instead what happens is we support the rook here like this. So this can't happen. So now what does black do? It has this support, so it takes this pawn. So now what do? We make this check. If this takes and takes, then there is a checkmate. Like this is a checkmate. So what happens instead is the king has to go down and we take our rook. So once again, we may take this pawn, then the queen comes here attacking this. Then we support the rook and make the battery stronger. So then takes, then we give our check. Now the king comes down. If the king doesn't come down, then we have a checkmate. The king has to come down and we take our rook. So now once again going over all the puzzles. So this is an easy mate in one. This was the mate. So and now this is the mate in two using this battery. Takes checkmate. And now this one is we take this rook first because else we would have a battery mate. And the queen takes the rook and we make this and we pin the queen. So now takes like that. Now for the fourth one, we take this knight and the rook takes the rook. Then we can give a knight fork or we can simplify things further. We take this, then the queen takes it, and now we make a knight fork. So now for the next puzzle, we first give a check and move the king into the corner. Then we exhaust our battery and we have our checkmate. And in this one, we make our battery stronger. Now this pawn comes here and tries to break the formation. We take this bishop, then the rook takes rook, queen takes rook, and this. Now here, we take this pawn, and now the queen comes here to attack this square. Take, then we bring our queen here to strengthen this square. Now this takes, then we give a check. This can't happen, so the king comes down and we have a checkmate. So thanks for watching. In some more videos, we would look at some more interesting problems.